Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. I am your host, Fernando Leon. And today we have a special guest, another CEO from an MSP who is just killing it out there. And we have Tim Taylor from TaylorWorks. But before we dive into talking with Tim, I'm going to go over our agenda. We'll give you guys a quick intro on Tim Taylor and TaylorWorks. The start of his MSP journey. Was it a side hustle or did he go all in? The selling and marketing struggle. We'll talk about that. His marketing strategy, lessons he's learned about his seven-figure MSP, advice for CEOs of MSPs. Is there room for improvement? And then we'll go into the two Tims because he's got a little side project he'd like to talk about. And we'll also give his URL and all that, but helping others. So Tim, let me get started here with a little intro on you. Tim started TaylorWorks in 1999, and after years of working for others, at 40 years old, Tim started his own company, TaylorWorks. I love the name. Literally out of the trunk of his car, TaylorWorks generated $1 million of annual revenue after only 5 years in business. Today, TaylorWorks is a multi-million-dollar MSP that takes care of over 100 customers and over 1,000 endpoints. Congratulations. And Tim has helped double TaylorWorks revenue in the last few years. So we want to hear about his journey, his advice, and let me get started on this. So Tim, tell us your story about how the MSP business came about and what point did you have the confidence that you could run your own business? It sounds like you were 40 years old, so you had a lot of confidence then, but give us a little bit more insight there.
Yeah, thanks, Fernando. Thanks for having me on. So in 1999, I was 40 years old. I had 3 kids. I had a mortgage.
Mm.
I had 2 car payments, and I had $500 in the bank.
Oof,
And I said,
wow.
by God, I'm going to start my own MSP or die trying. Of course, it wasn't called MSP back then. You were just called a computer guy. Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Give you a little background on me. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. Went to the University of Memphis there. It was called Memphis State back then. Graduated in '83. Got married, and my wife and I immediately moved to California. We worked for a big nonprofit out there. I came in as a mainframe programmer. So that's what was going on back in the 80s and early 90s. And the office that I was working in, they wanted to get a PC. I said, well, I know a little bit about them. The IBM PC was invented the year I graduated from college.
Hmm.
So I said, well, I can install that one. And then suddenly somebody else wanted one. Suddenly somebody else wanted one. So suddenly I became the IT, the PC guy.
Yeah. All
And
right.
my mainframe programming career evaporated. But within a few years, we had over 100 PCs. We were networking together with Novell. Some of you older guys might remember Novell NetWare
Oh
operating
yeah,
system.
I do.
And okay, good. We connected everybody with Novell, and then they moved the headquarters here in '91. And so we moved to Florida. I lived just outside of Orlando, Florida. And we grew the network up to 400 or 500 PCs. And
Wow.
we transitioned over to Windows NT Server originally. Then it was Windows 2000 Server, and eventually the PC network overtook the mainframe. We got rid of the mainframe, and that was actually after I left. I stayed there, worked for them for 13 years. Great organization, but it's a nonprofit. I had 3 kids. I needed to make a little more money, so I left there and I went to work for a small IT company. It was basically just me and the owner,
Hmm.
and it was the worst job that I ever had in my life. Oh, the guy was promising me all this stuff. He never came through with anything. He just wanted all my contacts. And so by God, I said one day, you know what? I was really happy that I got that really bad job though, because it made me start my own company. Every
Hmm.
time it got hard, the first few years of running my MSP, I thought back what it was like working for that guy. And I
Hmm.
said, I am not going back to that. I don't care if I have to work 24 hours a day. I am not going back to that.
Hmm.
So after a year there, I just broke off and I started my own MSP. I started with one customer. They had about 25 machines. They wanted to hire me, and I said, I won't go to work for you as your computer guy, but I will. I'm starting my own consulting firm, and I will make you my number one client. Okay. So I
Hmm.
got just enough business from them to kind of keep going. I called my best friend back in Tennessee. I said, would you loan me $5,000 just to get my business off the ground? He happily did that for me. He said he wouldn't charge me any interest. And I started with that one client. I had to reformat all their machines and start building their network, making it much better than it was. And there was a law firm across the hall. So I walked in there. I put my best suit on one day, and I walked in the law firm. I wanted to look like a lawyer. And he said, "Hey, who does your IT here? Are you happy with them? I do the IT for the place right across the hall." And the receptionist took my card and she walked around the corner, and 30 seconds later, she comes back. Oh, we have somebody. We're happy. And we don't have any problems. And I said, well, I'm over here all the time. Back then, it was hard to get somebody to show up, an IT guy to show up,
Hmm.
because you
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
remote in like you can today because the internet connections were very spotty. This law firm, it had about 9 or 10 people, didn't even have an internet connection, if you can believe
Oh
that.
my. Wow.
And so this was 1999.
Wow.
So I said, I could get you guys on the internet. I just kept talking because I knew the office manager could hear me. She was just in the other room. And after about a minute or two, she walks out and she says, let's go outside for a minute. The next 45 minutes, all she did was tell me about all the problems they had. And I was like, I can fix all of that. I can fix every one of those. And so she hired me. And, that's a testament to not giving up. Okay. Don't be
Yeah.
rude, but, just don't give up. People, all offices have issues,
Yep.
whether they're happy with their current IT or not. Even if they say they're happy with their current IT, you can say, well, hey, I'd love to be your backup company. I had a 1 hour interview with, meeting with a guy one time, just saying I wanted to be his backup company in case his other IT company failed.
Hmm.
So there's a strategy right there.
Yeah.
So
That
basically, I
is.
started TaylorWorks. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. 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 That's a great strategy. I love that.
It is. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And well, we're happy. You know what? I bet you are happy because you're a smart company. You have good employees here, good network. But everybody's got to have a backup company because maybe they're not going to be available, or maybe they go out of business, or maybe you suddenly don't like them a day. We'd like to be that company you call.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it may take 3 years, but you will eventually get a call. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, more than likely.
Yep.
But I started TaylorWorks out of the trunk of my car, 1999, 3 kids to feed, a wife and mortgage and everything. And I was just billing by the hour, bidding, 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 bidding. I billed every hour I could bill. And there were weeks when I had 50, 60 billable hours in a week.
Oh.
And I was working just about round the clock. When Y2K hit, you're old enough to remember that, Fernando.
Oh
When
yeah.
Y2K hit, I was literally at that law firm putting in a new server that was Y2K compatible. up until
Wow.
like 11:30 on New Year's Eve. And I finally finished. I said, I'm going to get home and kiss my wife at the Millennium because this isn't going to happen again for 1,000 years.
That's right. That's
I helped
right.
him grow from 8 people, 8 PCs to 50 over the next 3 years, that law firm.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the first really big, good sized client.
Very nice.
So I just kept
So,
reaching out to all of the people I knew and just kept growing the business. I got several more companies in that same complex. And that's a great
mm,
marketing strategy. Just go around your current clients and say, hey, I do company right down the hall, or I do the company right in the next building.
yep,
It's called marketing by walking around. You'd be
yep,
amazed. People like the fact that you do somebody right down the hall,
yep,
or right in their building because you're going to be
yep.
over there pretty often.
That
So that's
is
how it
a
started.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip because I'm sure a lot of these guys who are servicing organizations like in a big building, just go out, knock on some doors, take your tech with
Absolutely.
you, right? Bring the
Absolutely.
sales guy and go
Yep.
knock on some doors. It's
Everybody should have a nice little brochure with them that
yep,
like staple your business card to it. They're less likely to throw it away if your card's stapled to it. And just walk in the door and say, hey, I'm not selling anything. I just want to let you know what we do. I do it for the company right across the hall. You guys ever have any needs? I'd love to talk to your office manager. You'd be
yep,
amazed how that
yep.
will work.
Oh
And you don't
yeah,
be pushy. Just say, I'm right across the hall if you need me, or I'm right downstairs, or I'm right in the next building.
yep,
And it really can work. I've done it myself.
yep, yep, yep. So, at least my next question, a lot of it, and I think you've already answered it because we deal with a lot of full-time IT people that still have full-time jobs, but they want to build a side hustle. So they come to us, but sounds like you just went all in. You didn't even start a side hustle.
I did because it was just so frustrating where I was. I mean, it was
Yeah.
literally murder. Okay.
Yep.
And the guy I worked with never stopped talking. And it was just, you just droned on all the time. And one day I said, you're so hard to communicate with because you are so overbearing. So I think he saw the handwriting on the wall that I couldn't really work with this guy anymore. And so, yes, I did it. I just jumped in. I got a little bit of a loan from somebody and I jumped in, but I had a client lined up. I mean, I had this client. So, what I would recommend if you work for an MSP or you work if you're an IT guy at a company, start looking for your first client. And you could go to them and say, if I was to leave my current employment, I'm thinking about leaving my current employment and starting my own IT company. Would you guys go with me?
Mm,
Okay,
mm.
you've got to have something lined up before you just jump ship, especially if you have
Oh
a
yeah.
family. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No,
So
I
you
agree.
have to have something lined up, and then also you could say, look, I get off at 5. I could come over here at 6, or whatever, or there sometimes people can, instead of not working Saturday and Sunday, maybe they don't work Tuesday and Wednesday.
Mhm.
You can work with people then. I will say this: if you work for an MSP, do not try to take their clients away. Okay,
Oh no.
it's
No, no.
it is
Yeah.
horrible. It happened to me one time, and it is not a good thing to do, and you get a terrible reputation right off the bat. Your former employer is going to sue you. Just all kinds of crazy things can happen. So just don't do it. Now you
Yep.
could go to your employer and say, look, if you work for an MSP, say, look, I'm thinking about going out on my own. Is there anybody here you don't want to work with? Any client?
Mhm.
And look,
Mhm.
I'll be happy to take them. There
Mm.
you go. There's your first client.
There you
Okay.
go.
So
Well,
yeah.
my next question, I'm hoping that you can give us some insight because a lot of my company only works with IT firms, and 99.999% of them struggle with marketing and selling value. Can you
Yes.
share how you overcame both those challenges and what marketing strategy did you put in place to grow consistently?
Okay. I've been in business 25 years. Okay.
Okay.
And you don't grow just about every year without doing some marketing. Now, when you think of marketing, everybody thinks of, social media advertising or advertising on the web or whatever things. When you're new or you're just getting started and you don't have a ton of money to put into marketing, there there's a lot of things you can do yourself, meaning join professional associations. Okay. These
Yep.
are like the Association of office administrators for doctors' offices, Association of Legal Administrators for law offices. Okay, that has been a big one for us. Okay, look around trade associations for construction. All these organizations, they're actually paying me to speak. This doctor's organization of administrators is paying me to speak in a couple of months at one of their events about cybersecurity. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so if you join the chamber, join these other groups, business leads groups, go into a leads group that's just business to business, not like a business to consumer. Go business to business salespeople. These people are out there talking to the same people you're talking to every day. You should be
Hmm.
in a minimum of two groups, maybe even three. Okay,
Hmm.
and the organizations, you can say, look, I can come do a cybersecurity presentation, and they're always looking for speakers. Okay, and
Okay.
you get to meet people, and you get to meet people that go have coffee with them, have a one-on-one meeting with the other members of that group, and you tell them, how can I help you in your organization? And if you're willing to help them, then they're going to be willing to help you. And the ultimate is sitting there sharing each other's list of clients and saying, yeah, you need to go call so and so. He's been complaining about his IT, or you need to call so and so. And then you be
Yeah.
willing to do the same thing for him or her. So basically, there's a lot of marketing you can do on your own. Okay. But
Yeah.
that's not to dissuade. You do need to do everything as well. But when you're first getting started, you don't have a lot of money to do other marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our name is out there. I had one of the first, probably the first MSP website in Orlando because I started so long ago. But
Uh-huh.
you need to have a good website. You need to have some social media presence. My recommendation is just don't spend a ton of money on it, but spend what you can afford. But be realistic about it. It's going to take a while before it takes traction. Okay,
I
so that's the way I look at it.
I like that tip on joining association. So when you
Yes.
join an association, like let's say, what did you say, association for doctors, or what was the
Or
exact
there's
name?
the one we network in the most is called the Association of Legal Administrators. These are all
Okay.
the ladies that run the law firms in town. The attorneys think they run the law firm, but really these ladies run the law firms.
All right.
But
And
what they
you
do is they're all work at different firms, and
uh-huh.
they all have the same problems, and so they
Yep.
they get together and talk about their issues and whatever. And this one, the one we're in here in Orlando, is very vibrant, and they actually have a vendor trade fair once a year. Where all the vendors that sell to them get to come, and every one of those ladies walks past your booth and gets to talk to you. And a
Hmm.
lot of the ladies won't work with somebody that's not a member of their trade association. Okay,
Mm,
you can
okay.
sponsor lunch and learns, a few $100 or $1,000. You sponsor lunch for this group, and then you're the
Yep.
main speaker. And if you speak and show a PowerPoint and show what you're talking about, and you've been doing it for a while, someone will come up to you and say, I really want to talk to you. We have 6 or 7 law firms, big law firms. I mean, we're talking 50, 60, 70 computers that we got from this organization. Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
So
No, that's nice.
you're the expert. When you speak, you are the expert. Do the same thing at your chamber of commerce. Do the same thing at any other group that you can get an opportunity to speak at. I'll share my contact info at the end. I've got several nice PowerPoints that you can use for cybersecurity. So I already got them done. Just put your company name in there.
Nice, Tim. That is so great. It's you sound very inspirational. I love it. And I've been doing this for 20 plus years too. So that idea never crossed my mind. So I hope that this will motivate some people to go join these type of associations, because never thought about it. I've always been I had a different approach, but I love it. I love You see how
Yeah.
you learn something every day, and
Yeah.
talking
And
to
they don't
people
they don't
like,
cost
yeah.
that. They don't
No.
cost that much to join typically. And just your
Okay.
chamber of commerce, if nothing else. One thing
Yeah.
about the chamber is if you join the chamber, they're going to give you a list of every member in the chamber. And then
Okay.
you contact them and say, hey, I'm a new member. I just want to
Yeah.
come by and meet you. I just want to come by your office, just meet you because I'm a new member. You're not selling
Okay.
anything. Just come by, tell what you do, but you're going to figure out which companies are going to be a fit for you by walking in their office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you go in there in that businessman, show me around your office. He's going to take you around his whole office, show you every computer in there. Suddenly,
Hmm.
you know everything about them.
Yeah.
All
I
all you
love it.
did
I
was join
love
the
it.
chamber.
So,
So
I mean, you sound like you have a great personality. You're very engaging. You sound so, confident and credible. We deal with a lot of IT guys who are shy, who
sure.
are, they don't have that level of confidence yet. You've been doing this a
Yes.
long time, so I could see
Yep.
why you're there. But Did you do anything different for marketing though? Did you follow the Robin Robbins, the Chris Weisers of the world? Well, Chris Weiser is not a marketing guy. He's a sales type of guy. But
Yeah.
did you implement any Robin Robbins type of strategies or specific
Well,
other specific strategies?
yeah, let me mention something about your first comment there about tech guys and how they might be shy. They don't like to speak in front of groups. Okay.
Yep.
Let me
Yep.
tell you something. It's not something that comes naturally for me. Remember, I was a
Okay.
mainframe programmer. That's like the
Yep.
nerd of the nerds back in the corner. Okay. Uh,
Yep.
but I major in business. I have a minor in marketing. Okay. But that doesn't make me a great salesperson. What made me a great salesperson was I had four mouths at home to feed. Failure was not an option.
Yep.
That's what
Yep.
made me become a better salesperson. Okay.
Yep.
However, a lot of tech guys think, oh, I can't sell, I can't speak that well, and maybe I talk fast. But honestly, who are they going to believe more? The slick salesman or the technician that tells them in a few words, you need a new server? Who are
Yep.
they going to believe? They're going to believe
Yep.
the technician because
Yep.
they know he's telling the truth.
Yep.
Okay. If you just walk in there, hey, I'd love to talk to your office manager about your IT. I think I can do a good job for you and I can save you some money.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
she's going to believe what you say much more
Yep.
than some slick salesman with 14 brochures.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I agree.
don't think you can't sell. It can be a positive to be a technical person, especially if you say, well, I'm going to do a lot of the work myself.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now you're thinking about Robin Robbins. I've known Robin since 2000 and oh Lord, 2007.
Okay.
Um, I actually had a you'll completely believe this when I tell you I actually had a radio show in Orlando back 2007 to 2010. It was a call-in
Uh-huh.
computer show. Okay,
Okay.
people kept
Okay.
telling me you should be on the radio, so I went ahead and had a radio show. It was a lot of fun. One of the first people I interviewed was Robin. You know, we had a lot of fun interviewing Robin. I've met her at different conferences and stuff. I personally think she has some good stuff. Chris Weiser has all those people have some good stuff, or they wouldn't be in business. Okay,
Yep.
you have
Yep.
to decide who you want to work with, who you want to spend your money with. I do think some of those things are a little bit too expensive, but some of them might be really worth it, especially if there's like some coaching involved. And
Mhm.
I am in the personal belief that every MSP needs a coach. You need a coach to take you through this
Yep.
because when I started, there was nothing, nothing. The MSP world hadn't even been invented. There were no
Yep.
PSAs, there were no RMMs, there was none of that stuff.
Yep.
And you basically, if you had a problem with your computer, I had to come right to your desk because I couldn't remote in.
Yep.
Eventually, we were able to remote into the server and then ping from the server out to a workstation. But it was years before we could start doing that.
Yep.
So we've come a really long way since the early days. But you have to market. You have to have people know who you are, but make sure that you can afford it. Okay, you can get hooked into a plan that's costing you $1,500 a month, and I know what it's like when you're a small MSP. Maybe you and one other technician, you are so busy, and then you're so busy doing paperwork. Do you really have the time to implement all that? All that marketing. Do you
Yep.
really have time? Okay,
Yep.
so and you don't have a lot of money to do it either.
Yep.
So what I recommend is do the free things, the chambers, the things that cost very little money. Go to the chambers, go to the associations, speak, and get to meet people in your community. And then if you start making enough money, you can start spending it on things like that. Okay. So that's what I believe. And I do some consulting on the side we can talk about later. But I just think that anything you can do to promote your business, but the trade associations, the chambers of commerce, things like that, are where we've seen the best growth, our best opportunity to get new clients.
Well, it's definitely a very intriguing approach. I'm not going to poo-poo on anything because when you put effort, if you put effort into
Yes.
anything, you can make it work. If other people have made it work, you can make it work. It's just it's all about the effort.
Yep,
You got
that's
to
true.
put effort. You can't just do it one week and say, "Oh, I didn't get any leads." You got to
Yeah.
keep going. You can't
Oh
just
yeah,
get
you do.
discouraged. You can't be easily discouraged. So,
Yeah, marketing is the long game. It is the long
yes.
game. Okay.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, I don't know, well, just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Even if it's just your social media and you make sure your website is current. Make sure you're posting some things on your website regularly. Make sure
Yep.
you've got hashtags in there where people can find you. You know, marketing is important. I just don't like seeing people spend a lot of money and then they either don't take the time to work on it or they don't have the time to work on it and then they regret it, later. So when you can afford it, do it. Definitely, it is something that will grow your business over time.
Well, these guys, these CEOs of MSPs, they don't know it, but they are technically the brand. They need to learn how to build a brand. And we're spoiled over here at my firm. We're very spoiled because we've built an online brand where our website produces 30 to 40 meetings a month. We have very high quality leads that are that are coming in each month. So I don't have to do all that legwork. I'm too busy in meetings and calls. But I love your approach, Tim. Oh my God, I can't wait to share this with a lot of my IT clients who they need this type of advice, and I can't wait to share it with them. It's just amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing that tidbit of information. But I'm gonna skip over something because I think I know where you're gonna go with because of the two Tims. I know that you have another side business going, so we'll talk about that at the end. But what's the biggest lesson you've learned as a business owner? Because let me tell you, there's so many struggles and so many challenges and so many frustrations and yeah. Tell me, what's the biggest lessons you've
Oh,
learned as a business
oh
owner?
Lord.
The biggest one. I
I
know there's
often
many. Give me a
I
biggest one.
often tell people I have made every mistake that you could make in this business.
Yeah.
I have from not charging enough to hiring the wrong people to taking on the wrong clients,
Yeah.
take on clients that are too small or too big, or not buying this when you needed to buy it and not buying that when you needed to buy it. I would say the biggest thing for someone who owns their own business is having the mindset of not giving up. If you want
Yeah.
to succeed, Winston Churchill said, success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
Yep.
That's one of my
Yep.
favorite quotes ever. Okay. Learn how to adapt. Learn, that there's always going to be changes in our industry. Always. I
Yep.
mean, if you're pouring concrete, that hasn't changed in 100 years. Okay. But if you are running this kind of business, it changes every week. Stay on top of it and get the right people in your business. Hire the right people. You don't know sometimes if this person's going to work out. You try them out, have a strict 90-day on, like this is your evaluation period for 90 days. If they're not working out, they got to go. If you get
Yeah.
somebody that gets a bad attitude, they got to go and they got to go now. Okay. Because they will sour the attitude of everybody in your business. Okay.
Yep.
Hire
Yep.
people you can trust. Um, Give them authority to do stuff. I don't go out and tell my technicians what to do. They get a ticket, they work it. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
not micromanaging them either.
Yeah.
An owner of an MSP needs to be, his number one job is to sell and look for new opportunities.
Yep.
That's what he should be doing. He should not be
Yep.
under desks installing machines. Now, if you're just getting started, you have to do that. I installed probably several hundred machines when I first got started because I was the only one that could do it. And then
Yeah.
my first hire was a part-time tech, and my second hire was a full-time administrator. Okay.
Mm.
She worked at one
Okay.
of my clients. She wanted to leave. She started working from home. This was the early days of internet connections. And she did my billing. She ordered equipment. She scheduled the technician. She answered the phone. She did the payroll. She did everything. Okay.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
That freed me up to double the size of my company every year for several years when I first got started
Mm.
because I wasn't doing all that crap. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody likes doing it. All right. People think,
Yeah.
oh, I'll get an administrator one day. No, get the administrator as soon as you can. So
Yeah.
it frees you up as the owner to be out there either on billable time or selling. Okay.
Mhm.
Because that's what you
Mhm.
need to focus on. Too many MSPs, their biggest problem is between their ears, it's the way they think. Okay. I'm a technician. I need to be out doing technical work. No, not if you own the company. No. Okay. You need to be out there looking for new opportunities. Okay. Going to
Yep.
trade shows and looking at products, but don't buy too many. I see MSPs buy way too many products, but stick with a family of products that works for you and concentrate on growing your business because you never know what could happen. You literally could lose your best client tomorrow because they got bought out. That's happened to
Yep.
us many times. Any
Yep.
client that you have is big and is making money, they're a target for acquisition, my friend. It's going to
Yep.
happen.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
get ready. I've lost 100 user clients because they got acquired. Bang, they're
Yep.
gone. Just like that.
Yep. Oh
So if
yeah.
you can't
No.
replace that income, you're in trouble. So
Yep.
constantly be bringing in new business. Always be selling. So
Well,
that's what I would say.
I tell everybody if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yep,
You
absolutely.
got you got to grow.
If you're not growing, you're slowly liquidating. That's exactly right.
Hmm. So tell us about your MSP business. Are you working with one industry or are you targeting everybody?
We don't stick with a specific industry. Now we have a lot of law firms. We have a lot of construction firms. I mean, a lot. I mean, in perspective, we have about 100 clients, so it's not like we have hundreds of anything. Okay, so we have focused on the legal community mainly because we got involved with that legal organization. I've spoken there many times, and in the the firms have come to us and said they want us to do their IT.
Yep.
We like I like construction companies a lot better because they have big needs, but they don't question everything you do like attorneys. Okay,
Yep.
attorneys are paid to argue. Okay, I wouldn't take this the right way, but I would never marry an attorney because they are paid to argue. Okay, they will win every argument. All right, which is not always good in marriage, my friend. So, but basically, if you have a network, we'll figure out how to work with you. We do have minimum number of machines. We don't like taking on somebody with less than 10 machines and a server, or they're moving in that direction. We don't typically work with Macintoshes, but we do have a client we just picked up that has 6 Macs, and that's the whole company. Um, we as long as we have 2 plans. We have what's called essentials, where we just put our tools on your machines for a fee, and then everything is hourly. We don't have many of those clients, but small ones we do. And then we
Mhm.
have basically our full managed service plan, where everything is covered, and then they can add on cybersecurity, which we strongly recommend. We put an EDR on there, but we strongly recommend all our other cybersecurity products. And so that's if you're willing to meet those criteria at a minimum essential services, and we only do up to maybe 10 or 15 machines at that, and then we will we'll take you on. And yeah, I mean, there's been some clients I've loved to have. I've had one client for 24 of our 25 years. Okay,
Mm.
a small law firm near us, and then you'll have this one big law firm they had and wanted a 1 year contract with us. At the end of that contract, I didn't want to work with them, and they didn't want to work with me. I was like, I am out of here. They drove me bananas for a year, and
Wow.
it was not worth it. It was absolutely not worth it. But you never know until you do it. So I
Yeah.
learned,
Oh
don't take
yeah.
on somebody that's too big of a percentage of your total income, and don't take on a bunch of lawyers that are litigators.
Well, I'm gonna adjust that statement just a little bit. They're taking a lot of your income. I say your time is worth way more money. So I think you meant time, right? If they take up too much of your time, you
Right,
can't get that back. You can make money back anytime. I mean,
right.
money comes and goes. But
Yep.
boy, our time, it's gone, Tim. It's gone.
That's the one thing you cannot expand, and that's the one thing that
Yeah.
everyone on the planet's been given the same amount of is time.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
and so if you have a client, I've heard many speakers over the years saying you should fire your biggest client. Okay, because if you look at them, they are probably you're probably breaking even on them, and they're driving you bananas. Okay, and then when you get bigger clients, they have enough money to hire people to look at all of their bills and figure out where they can save money. And that
Yeah.
person will constantly be driving you bananas. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Oh
would
yeah.
much rather have 4 networks at 25 computers each than one at 100. Much,
Yeah.
much more. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because you can make a
Yeah.
25 user network run great. But that 100 user network, there's always somebody in there that's going to try to drive you bananas.
I know, man. Wow, Tim, you've been giving us some great pointers, man. I mean, one of my questions here is you've given a lot of great, phenomenal advice. And as somebody who's been in this business for 20 plus years too, I'm like, I'm going to look into a couple of them because I got salespeople that need to stay busy. So I'm going to recommend that they go in that direction. Now, do you have anything else you want to share with IT business owners who are trying to do it on their own? Because
Yeah.
I mean, any other tips? Because you've
Yeah.
said a lot, man, and I
Yeah, I know.
appreciate it.
I talk fast. You need to listen to it several times, and maybe put it on 3/4 speed. But I know I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and nobody believes that, but I really am. I'm an old Southern boy,
uh,
but I don't know. Even when I was a little kid, I talked really fast. My brain works so much faster than my mouth. You can believe that. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
basically, to answer your question, when I first got started, I looked for a book, how to start and run a successful IT company, and I couldn't
Mhm,
find it. I was like, somebody has to have written this book. It was not out there, and this was
mm,
1999. All I could find was some guy wrote a book about running a computer store, and I
mm.
said, "By God, I'm going to write that book one of these days." And I sat down, as I was moving along with my MSP. I started just kind of putting down chapter headings. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to know. And then in 2016, I sat down and I put it all together and I actually published the book, How to Start and Run a Successful IT Company Without
Mhm.
Losing Your Shirt. That's the title. It's on Amazon. There's an Audible version as well. You can listen to it. And after I wrote it, and there's a picture on the back of it of the car I actually started out of the trunk of that car, and I really did. Um, there, uh, After I did the book, people was like interested in my consultant, in me being a consultant. Okay, so
Mm.
I do work with other MSPs. I started an MSP consulting practice where, and my son works with me in my business, which has given me time to work on my consulting. So I work with people all over the United States. I've sold hundreds of books all over the world, probably into the over 1,000 now. And there's an Audible version of the book, and it's How to Start and Run a Successful IT Company. It's on Amazon and Audible, and there's a Kindle version too. But basically, I love working with small MSPs or MSPs that are struggling. It's like, I've been working this for 10 years. I don't know why I can't move the needle forward. And I do one-on-one coaching. Okay.
Mm.
So much smaller scale than like Robin Robbins, or I might get as big as them one day, but I'm older than those guys, so I don't know if I ever want to get too big. But I like to take on guys, and you schedule like an hour and a half with me once a month, and then I also have a sales trainer that works with me, and he also gives you an hour of his time once a month. So we really hit all the bases, and I work with guys in Iowa, California, New Jersey, you name it, and we do Zoom calls where it's just me and you, very reasonable price, and it's only $3.99 a month, and that keeps the price low. And all these other people can be significantly more than that. They have plans about that, but you don't get any interaction with anybody. It's just like, here's the stuff, you can market yourself. Okay, so
Yep.
basically, I work with people like, hey, I want to start my MSP. Or we got 2 clients, but I don't know what a PSA is. I don't know what an RMM is. I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to do a contract. We share all our sales materials, contracts, and if you get stuck on something, I still own an MSP. We can help you. We've helped my clients before with stuff. We have to bill you, but then you just mark it up and bill your customer. We bill you at a discounted rate. So if
Mhm.
somebody gets stuck and they need help, anybody that I'm consulting, we will help them. So if you go to timtaylorconsulting.com, you can send me an email from there. It's just my email is just ttaylor@timtaylorconsulting.com, and I'll reach out to you and see if we're a fit. I love doing consulting, and I've been doing it now for about 10 years, and I enjoy working with people. And basically, if I can help you, I'd love to do that. So please feel free to reach out to me, timtaylorconsulting.com.
And that's, you got ahead of me, Tim, because I said one of the questions on my on this podcast was to address the two Tims. You have the
Okay.
MSP Tim. It's okay. It's okay. You got the MSP Tim, and now you have the consulting Tim, which I love. That's one of the main reasons we started the MSP Corner platform. The Tim Robbins, or the Robin Robbins, and the Chris Weisers of the world, they're just too expensive. And we
They
love
are.
helping small companies.
Yes.
And we're developing something exactly like you, but we want to be able to hit thousands of MSPs. So we want to scale it to a larger. So we're helping many people, but we have the same mentality, the same type of model, but we're going to provide a lot of marketing guidance,
Yes.
like the SEO stuff. We're
Yes.
awesome with SEO. We know everything there is to know about SEO. We're not SEO implementers, but we
Right.
want to educate these guys on what to look for, because there's a lot of shady SEO companies out there that are trying to sell snake oil and calling it
Yep.
SEO best practices. And it's like, no, you have to be very smart about it, because if they tell you one thing and I'm telling you to do it another way, it's like it's not lining up, and they got to be really careful because they're expensive. Those things, the
Oh,
SEO companies are
you can
expensive.
lose your you can lose your shirt doing that. So
Yeah.
I will definitely be referring my guys to you, because I don't. I tell them you need to SEO your website, but I don't do it for them, obviously. So
Yeah.
we will definitely sending my guys your way. And it's like, you need to come up with a package, and maybe you have it already. The small MSP, he could spend maybe $500 a month, maybe. Okay, what
Mhm.
what would be the best spend of that $500 for marketing? you know and that's what I am thinking about. And then when they get bigger and they start making plus 1 million in sales, something like 90% of MSPs never break a million in sales. Okay,
Yep.
which is sad. I did that
Yep.
within 5 years. Okay,
Yep.
but um, if you have the right SEO, then it drives people to your site. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They
Yep.
find you and they say, "Hey, I need IT support." You
Yep.
know, the best
Yep.
MSPs spend time on their websites and they make them good. Okay,
Yep.
just think about it. If you're shopping for anything and if you hit a website that looks like crap, you're not going to buy from there.
Yep.
You hit a website that
Exactly.
looks nice and is engaging.
Yep.
Wow, what's going on
Ex-
here? You know what I mean?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basic. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to no, I'm just I've had other CEOs of MSPs on here, and no one has come close to your energy level, your inspirational level. You're really I'm pleasantly surprised, Tim. I wasn't expecting much today, let me tell you. And I know we're friends on Facebook, and I enjoy seeing your family trips and your family. So I'm glad. Dude, a lot of these guys, they don't have a life outside of IT, and it's like you gotta have a life. You need a
Yeah.
life. You need
Well,
it.
if you don't, you'll burn out or you'll hate
Yep.
it and you'll never
Yep.
grow. You'll hate it. Then you'll be mad you didn't grow. And, you've got to have a well rounded life. If you're married or not married, you can still have a well rounded life.
Yep.
And what I used to do, especially when I first got started, and I was billing by the hour. So I didn't mind working late because I'm making money. People that sitting at home and eating dinner, I'm making $600 between dinner and bedtime. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
uh, you you have to what I would always do is work late during the week so I wouldn't miss anything with my kids on the weekends. I never missed a soccer game. I never missed a football game. I never missed anything they ever did. Okay. Now I told my wife, now it's probably going to be 2 or 3 nights a week. I'm not going to be here for dinner. Okay. I'll be
Yep.
here maybe after kids go to bed or whatever. But that was only that way for a few years until I started hiring staff and
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
got into managed services, which manages your network so much better. You don't have to work a night most of the time. Okay, so
Yep.
you
That's
know,
right.
but it's you need a well-rounded life, and you need a purpose in your life. I got to go on a missions trip to Africa a few years ago, and I met a young African guy there, and I ended up paying. He wanted to go to seminary. I ended up paying his way through seminary, and he's started multiple churches down there, and he wants to start a school down there. I've been supporting him for. I met him in 2002. Okay,
Wow.
I've been supporting
Wow.
him for many years, and we're trying to build a school in Africa. And so I
Wow.
started the African Hope Education Foundation. I don't have a website for it yet, but I'm not asking for donations. But basically, um, I'm working with him, and we're helping him. With his. I built him a home. I got him a car. He was living in a mud hut. And so this is very rural part of Africa. This is not
Wow.
not Nairobi or something. It's a very rural part. But I believe God gives everybody some kind of project in their life that's bigger than themselves.
Yep.
Okay. I'm in this group called
Yep.
Toastmasters. It's a public speaking group, which I strongly
Mm-hmm.
recommend any of your MSPs joins. It's a great organization. And they learn how to do public speaking. If you're going to speak at chambers, things like that, learn how to speak. Okay.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I gave a whole
I
speech
agree.
about what I've done there, and I had some big pictures of everybody and all this stuff. And so anyway, I just believe that everybody can get involved in some project that's bigger than themselves. I don't care what it is. Some kind of nonprofit that you believe in, whether it's the homeless in your community, whether it's somebody in a war-torn area, whether it's feeding children in Africa or educating children in Africa, whatever it is, educating children in America. Get
Yep.
involved in it. It makes your life so much more well-rounded.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
and
Yep.
there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
so
Yep.
that's how I
Oh
feel.
yeah. Well, Tim, you've been very inspirational. I love it. And I'm glad we see eye to eye on a lot of things, because I feel the same way. When you need purpose in life, you need to help others, and that's one of the reasons we started the MSP Corner. I know I'm going to be charging for this, but I know I'm going to sponsor some people who are struggling out there, that if they can convince me that they need this our service at no cost, I'll say I'm going to do it,
Hmm.
because it's my way to give back. I have to give
Yeah.
back somehow. I mean, even though we give to our church and all that, that's great. They're doing something to help others, but I want to, me personally, have my fingerprints on helping others start their business or helping them grow. And You and I, we line up philosophically, spiritually, and ethically, I think. And I'm so glad that I finally got to speak with you because you are truly inspirational, sir.
Well, I appreciate that. I've done a lot of things in my life, and I just go where I feel the Lord's leading me every day, and that's just, I think that's the way everybody should live. And so, if you do that, you can be a happy person.
Yeah.
And if as an MSP, if you try something and it doesn't work, you go, well, I learned something from that.
Yeah.
I learned something from
Yeah.
that. If you try really hard to get a new client, you don't get them. You know
Yeah.
what? 4 months ago, you never heard of them, but then you
Hmm.
could think about why you didn't get them. Maybe I need
Yep.
to get my message a little bit or whatever. So, if you ever go to any Kaseya conferences out there, they ask me to speak on the road for them sometimes. So I speak at different conferences around the country, and I know not everybody's a big fan of Kaseya, but they do have a lot of products, and we had a lot of their products of companies that they ended up buying, so we kind of became naturally part of Kaseya, and they heard me speak at something and said, "Would you go on the road for us?" So I'll be traveling around the country doing Kaseya roadshow events, and I'll be selling my book there and talking about my consulting practice. So
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah.
have any of your viewers that feel like they need help. And one of the things you can do, Fernando, I was going to mention, if you say, "Look, I'm going to do SEO for you for 6 months," and then let's see, that's something you could give to somebody if you feel really led to give to them. You
Hmm.
could give to them
Hmm.
for 6 months, and
Yep.
then say after then, hopefully you'll get some business from it, and I can start charging you. But that's a way to give, not indefinitely, but to give to get them started, kind of
Yep.
thing.
I
So
agree. I agree. Now,
yeah,
so Tim, share your site one more time so some of these guys who have
yeah,
tight budgets, they can reach out to you.
sure,
And when I publish this, there's a short description we give on what the podcast is about. And
yeah,
let me type in that
yes,
URL in the
yes,
description here. Just give me a second. Let me get down
sure.
to where I'm going to type in your show, the summary of what we're going to say about Mr. Tim Taylor, the rock star. I love it. Hey, does Kaseya pay you for
They pay
talking out there?
well, they pay my expenses, and then
Okay.
so I don't pay for anything. But they basically give me a booth space for free because those can cost sometimes multiple thousands per event, and so
Yep.
they let me promote my book and my consulting practice. When they asked me to go on the road, I said I'll do it if I can talk about my consulting practice and sell my book. And they said, "Oh, sure." And because I was a big Datto promoter, before they bought Datto, but they still have Datto, obviously. But I was going on the road for Datto sometimes, and
Nice.
you want to, like every MSP, you need to work with a coach. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. You don't know everything, my friend. Okay,
Yeah.
and guess what? I've been doing this 25 years, and guess what? We have a coach. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a coach, a guy that owned a bigger MSP than me. All right,
Mm,
not to
mm.
make you guys jealous. I met a guy the other day. He has a $19 million a year MSP. I like to
Wow.
drop teeth, and he's younger than me. Okay, now,
Wow.
he learned how
Wow.
to acquire businesses. Okay, so he's acquired a lot of MSPs around the country. Really, really nice guy. I won't share his name, but if I did, some of you probably know who he is. But a great guy, and you know, he's the kind of person you want as a consultant because he knows what he's doing. I mean, my
Hmm.
my MSP is 2.5 million. Okay,
Hmm.
and when you like to talk to a guy who's done 19 million, if you want to grow, if you're at 500,000, when you want to talk to a guy that's done over a million,
Of
okay, so
course. Of
you
course.
know,
Yeah.
coaching is very important in this business, and it's timtaylorconsulting.com.
Got it.
Timtaylorconsulting.com. Okay,
Consulting.com. Great.
you can pick up my
And
book on that site, or you can pick it up on Amazon, either one. And I'd love to work with anybody. Just send me an email, ttaylor@timtaylorconsulting.com. And I don't mind giving you my phone number. I don't know if you want to publish that, but
yeah, no, no, no. Give your phone number.
yeah, it's 407-832 3644. 407-832-3644. Just that's my number, and feel free to call me. I will call you back. And then I do like we'll have like a 30-45 minute conversation about where you are, what you're doing, and whether I think I can really help you. I know I can, but whether you're ready for the help. And then basically we can start consulting. I've even some guys that literally don't even have their first client yet. I said, look, I'll work with you for 3 months, and then after 3 months you should have a client, and then I can start charging. Okay.
I like that.
So
I like that. I
yeah,
love that.
exactly. 'Cause I'm trying to help you get off the ground here. It was
Yep.
so hard when I did it that I was like, God, somebody needs to be helping these people. Well, there's some people out there now, but there's nobody focusing on the really small market. They
Yeah.
want you to already have 5 or 6 employees and, whatever, then we'll
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because they want to charge a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like to help the little guys. I started helping a guy in Iowa about 3 years ago, and he's over $500,000 a year in sales right now. And he's by
Mhm.
himself.
Wow.
By himself,
Wow.
and he just got he got an administrator, and he's looking at hiring a technician. But I mean,
Nice.
$500,000 a year in 3 years, he'll break $1 million in a few years. There's no question.
Yep.
No
Oh,
question.
yeah.
And he's a
Hey, Tim.
technician. He's not a real outgoing guy. So
Hey, give me your phone number one time because I had fat finger syndrome over here.
Yeah, no
407-832.
3644.
Okay, I entered 3664. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
You know
Okay,
what? That's actually my wife's cell phone number. I'd love for her to get the calls. Just call her.
Oh my God.
That's funny. Well, Fernando, this has been great, a lot of fun, and I love your audience. And I'm here to help people. God's given me this. I want to help other people with it. And actually, what I'm doing here helps fund what I'm doing in Africa as well. So
All right.
that's one of the
All
things I
right.
do.
Well, Tim, I'm going to close this show out and just stay on for just a second. I'm just going to stop record. I'm going to end the show here. But to everybody, thanks for listening. And don't forget to sign up to be a member on the MSP Corner website. Please share our link with a CEO who will find this conversation or our podcast information, this information valuable or beneficial. So go to mspcorner.com. And Tim, thanks again for being on our show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.